How do you create a good culture in your service department?
Man, it sounds like we're having some service department issues up in here.
Now, you take that.
All right. How do you get a good culture in your service department? Okay, when we think about a good culture in the service department, I will say most of the time it is dictated by the service manager.
Yeah.
If you have a culture issue in the service department, it typically comes to the service manager. If you do not have a service manager, or you as the owner or the GM and who's running the service department, I'm going to have you look in the mirror for a second, friend. Like it's probably the fact that you're the problem in this situation. Fantastic book, by the way.
That's great.
All right,
And the solution.
and the solution. But I would say you've got to look in the mirror, because typically that's where the problem is, if we've got a culture issue inside of the service department. So let me talk to the service managers for just a second. How do you change a culture situation inside of the service department? There's a few things we need to keep in mind. The first is that when you set the tone, I would encourage you to do this on a daily basis at the end of the day with a meeting with your whole entire service team. Now, I'm not talking about this meeting where we're going to spend 45 minutes breaking down every job that happened in the service department and giving out gold stars. Like, that's not what we're doing here. But what we're doing is we are going to have a moment where we say, hey, today was a great day, or man, we got upside down today and that really sucked. Like, be honest with your team at the get-go. So that's the first thing I want you to do during this quick 5 to 10 minute meeting at the end of the day. The second thing I want you to do as a service manager to change the culture inside of the service department is to set your techs up for success before the next day starts. So with this, it requires you having a plan for your technicians before they come in the next day. I want the most difficult job for your technicians to be the first thing they work on, and I want each of them to know what it's going to be. I also want to make sure that they get to leave every single day on a win. We want the easiest job to be the last thing that they do every single day. Because when we think about technicians, what technicians love is processes and stability. They are artists who want to just fix the problem and move on. And then typically we've got service managers who are throwing atomic bombs into the service department all the time and being like, what do you mean you didn't get it done? You need to outline your expectations for your technicians. Now, I will say there are times where we have that one technician in the service department who is changing the dynamic for everyone. And here's my thing. If we are going to have somebody who is going to be the rotten apple in the service department, the only thing that's going to happen with that person is they're going to make everybody else rotten apples too. They're never just going to be like, put enough good apples around them and magically they become good too. If you have somebody, a technician in your service department who is that rotten apple, the only solution at the core is to either have them change fundamentally, which in most cases will not actually happen, or we need to remove them so that we can change the culture. You go, but Sarah, it's so hard to find good technicians. I can't just get rid of them. You're right. In the middle of season, we can't just get rid of them. But if you're not in the middle of season right now, let's move them out. And you know, the thing that I see happen all the time is that when we move this person out, everybody else rises to the occasion and does more. So I don't know what the specifics are on the culture situation in your service department, but most of the time, it comes down to the service manager is the one who will dictate the culture. And if there's other issues, because of a specific technician, you need to deal with that specific issue, and you will see culture change almost instantaneously inside of the service department.
I mean, the culture is what you allow as a manager.
No question.
People talk about the culture. It's just like with parenting,
Yeah.
right? Your kids are going to do what you allow.
Absolutely.
If you don't allow it, then it doesn't happen. So it really is what you choose to allow makes the difference.